The grand chamber of the Alien Council was both inspiring and intimidating. Towering consoles flickered with holographic displays that changed shapes and colors while delegates from numerous species assembled to discuss recent human activities. The atmosphere was electric with animosity. Captain Sarah Wren stood at one end of the chamber, her heart racing as she noticed the race of beings surrounding her. An overwhelming array of hues, textures, and anatomies filled the room. As the human ambassador, she was set to address a committee that included the formidable Clora, a Radinii delegate known for her fiery temperament. Order. We shall commence the proceedings, boomed Delegate Zarkin, a massive figure of chitin and pulsating lights, drawing everyone's attention. The humans have continued to encroach on our borders. This is unacceptable. Sarah positioned herself in front of the council as the room erupted into chaos. Voices overlapped, drowning one another out. Tensions were high, fueled by recent skirmishes in space. Enough, shouted Clora, raising her hand. We must convene rationally. If we plunge into war, we risk losing everything. One of the other delegates, a short, tentacled creature named Grax, waved his appendages dismissively. Rationality? You speak of rationality while humans launch ships into our territory. They will not stop until we are at their mercy. As chaos resumed, Sarah noted another human figure entering the chamber. Commander Jack Matthews, a seasoned officer with a reputation for diplomacy, strode forward. He had been sent as support, knowing that Sarah would need it. Let's hear what the humans have to say, Jack suggested, his voice calm but firm. They can address the confusion. Confusion? Clora shot back. You are underestimating the severity of the situation. How can we trust a species known for its unpredictability? Because we all share a common goal, Jack replied, his piercing gaze sweeping the room. We don't want war. We are better together. This drew some curious looks from the delegates. Jack stepped up, determined to make a compelling case. Let's put aside our differences and discuss solutions. What if we brought something to the table, something from Earth? Like what? Clora asked, her interest clearly piqued despite her reservations. Coffee, Jack said, grinning. It's a universal social equalizer among humans. Perhaps an offering like that might help ease the tension. You think offering us a beverage will stop a war? Grax rolled his eyes, still skeptical. Let's find out, Sarah said, her tone suddenly confident. If we can all sit down together over a cup, perhaps we can have an honest conversation. Delegate Zarkin, intrigued by the unusual proposal, leaned forward. Is coffee truly that impactful? Jack nodded. It brings people together. It allows for genuine dialogue, and we can use that right now. Clora considered this and exchanged glances with Zarkin. Very well, if you want to speak over coffee, you will need to meet our demands first. What are they? Jack asked. Transparent communication. You will share your technological advancements and intentions, Clora replied, folding her arms, a serious expression on her face. Only then will we consider this coffee offering. Agreed, Sarah said, stepping in. We'll prepare a presentation on our technologies and methods of exploration. But it won't happen overnight. As tensions remained, the council's collective gaze slowly started to soften, considering the proposal. If you truly want to prevent war, you must make your intentions clear, Zarkin stated. Timing is crucial, Jack agreed. Let's make this work. Clora looked at the human representatives, debating. If you are sincere, set a time for this conversation. If you waste our time, there will be consequences. We will present within the week, Sarah ensured, locking eyes with Clora, feeling a flicker of understanding. The council murmured in acceptance. With their decision made, it finally felt like a fragile thread of collaboration was possible. As the meeting adjourned, Sarah and Jack stood together, breathing a sigh of relief. That went better than expected, Jack said, a smile crossing his face. Yeah, but we have a lot of work ahead, Sarah replied, glancing back at the chamber. We need to win them over. Let's start with that coffee, Jack suggested, nudging her shoulder playfully. It'll be the first step toward bridging our worlds. Later that day, the pair rummaged through the supplies in their small human enclave within the alien space station. I think I found some old supplies from the science team, Sarah said, holding up a bag of coffee. Not exactly the best beans, but it'll do. Jack smiled, taking the bag from her and inspecting its contents. Let's make it count. Together, they set up a small coffee station as the aroma filled the area. The scent wafted through the air, drawing attention from alien beings who found themselves peeking in, intrigued by the peculiar activity. Are we really going to share this with them? Sarah asked, feeling a mix of excitement and nervousness. Why not? If this is about forging relationships, let's start with a simple cup of coffee, Jack replied, pouring the steaming liquid into small cups. Besides, it'll show we're serious about talking. Within hours, the smell of coffee led several curious aliens, including Chlora, to the enclave. The Radianii delegate stepped forward, her curiosity clearly piqued. "What is that delightful aroma?" she asked, her eyes lit up with genuine interest. "Coffee. Care to have a cup?" Jack offered, holding out a warm cup toward her. Chlora, cautious yet intrigued, accepted the offering. She raised it to her lips and took a tentative sip. Her expression shifted from skepticism to surprise. "This is different. And good, I hope," Sarah interjected, watching her closely. "It's a human favorite." As more aliens joined them, laughter bubbled in the air. Cup by cup, barriers began to erode. Chlora found herself sitting next to Jack, their dialogue flowing more easily. The power of a simple drink was weaving a complex tapestry of interactions, laying the groundwork for understanding. Jack leaned closer to Chlora, interest sparkling in his eyes. "What do you think of humans now?" "I must admit, this behavior is unexpected," Chlora replied, swirling the coffee in her cup. "It shows a willingness to engage." "Exactly. We want to learn and grow together," Sarah chimed in. "Maybe it's worth another chance," Chlora mused. As they continued to share stories, laughter echoed in the small enclave. In those moments, it was easy to forget the gravity of their initial meeting. What had once been a chamber of hostility transformed into a sanctuary of potential collaboration. This didn't eliminate the challenges ahead, but as they chatted over steaming cups, it was a start. Perhaps the first real step toward a future where human and alien lives could intertwine, safeguarding their existence against the uncertainty that lay ahead. Chapter 2. The Unexpected Gesture. The following morning was filled with an air of anticipation. Sarah Wren awoke in her quarters, the coffee session from the previous day still fresh in her mind. The atmosphere in the council chamber had shifted, and although it was a small victory, it felt significant. She hoped to build on that momentum, but it meant facing the council again. In the communal area of the enclave, Jack Matthews was already at work. He stood over a makeshift table strewn with data pads and holographic projectors, looking more like a scientist than a trained military officer. "Good morning, Sarah," he called, his enthusiasm palpable as he caught sight of her. "I was just going through the presentation materials. We need to impress them today." "Morning, Jack," Sarah replied, pouring herself a cup of freshly brewed coffee from their small stash. "Do you think they're really invested in this? After yesterday?" Jack leaned closer, a glint of mischief in his eyes. "Absolutely." Chlora even nodded when I suggested showcasing our robotic exploration units. She chuckled, leaning against the counter. Maybe it was the coffee talking, but I'm glad she showed interest. I'm still surprised she actually enjoyed it. Jack grinned. "You do realize coffee might just save humanity, right?" Just then, Chlora strode into the room, her expression one of cautious curiosity. "I hope I'm not interrupting anything." "Not at all," Sarah said, quickly gesturing to the array of holographic displays. "In fact, we were just reviewing our materials for today's council meeting." "Materials?" Chlora asked, glancing over the table. "Is this what you'll show them?" "Quick overview of human tech, exploration efforts, and how we hope to collaborate," Jack explained. "We believe in transparency." Chlora raised an eyebrow, impressed. "I see. Transparency is indeed vital." She stepped closer, her gaze drawn to the projected images of human spacecraft. "May I?" "Of course," Sarah said, gesturing for her to take a closer look. "We've made significant advancements over the last few decades. I thought it might help ease concerns." Chlora inspected the displays, her interest peaking when Jack explained the function of each model. "This one, you call it a rover?" Sarah nodded, a flicker of pride in her voice. "It's designed for exploration on hostile terrains. We've used them on Mars for scientific studies. And they send back data in real time," Jack added, grinning. "It's really impressive work." Chlora's eyes narrowed with thoughtful consideration. "This could indeed be useful to us. The Radianii have been working on our own exploratory devices, but we have room for improvement. Perhaps we could collaborate on that?" Sarah suggested cautiously. "Sharing knowledge could accelerate our advancements." Chlora glanced between the two humans, visibly intrigued. "That is a fascinating proposition. But it would mean trusting you." "We'll prove that trust is possible," Jack said. But we must start somewhere. As they continued discussing technology, Sarah noticed Clora's posture shift from defensive to openly engaged. The council meeting loomed, yet the more they communicated, the more she felt walls breaking. Finally, Sarah straightened. Okay, we need to move on to logistics. Do we have enough information to present? Clora nodded but paused. I should also discuss some of our developments. It's only fair if this is a partnership. What do you have in mind? Jack asked, intrigued. We are developing bioadaptive ships, Clora explained, motioning to the display screen to project an image. Vehicles that can heal themselves through advanced organic materials. Interesting. Sarah exclaimed. That could revolutionize space travel. Clora's eyes twinkled, an uncharacteristic show of emotion. Collaborative projects could push us beyond our current limitations. Barring any unforeseen calamities, right? Jack added with a teasing quirk of his brow. Clora let out a rare laugh, her blue skin glowing vividly under the light. Yes, let's leave the calamities out. I believe we have a chance here. As they finalized their presentation for the council, Sarah felt a sense of camaraderie. Each detail discussed was not just a technological exchange, it was a weaving of cultures. The chamber doors swished open, revealing the ornate environment of the council. Sarah's heart thumped loudly as they entered. Delegates were already gathered, and murmurs filled the room. Jack leaned close to her. Remember to speak clearly. They're listening. Thanks for the reminder, she replied, feeling the weight of responsibility on her shoulders. As they approached the center of the chamber, Clora stepped forward, her authority apparent. Esteemed delegates, I invite you to listen to the human presentation. We are exploring mutual growth possibilities. A ripple of curiosity passed through the assembly. Sarah took a deep breath, tapping a device that illuminated the first holographic display. Greetings, council members. Today, we present our technological advancements aimed at cooperation and improving human-alien relations, she began. As they shared their research and designs, the room gradually shifted. Even the more skeptical delegates leaned forward, intrigued by the potential their exploration offered. Sarah felt a rush of adrenaline as she gestured toward the projected images. This is our exploration rover designed for extreme environments. We believe there are countless opportunities here for joint projects. Clora stood beside her, nodding. Human exploration has shown ingenuity. Their strength lies in creativity. Perhaps we should borrow some of their approaches for our initiatives. Delegate Zarkin grumbled, can we truly trust these beings? They have encroached upon our territories before. Jack responded firmly, we are committed to safeguarding both our lives and yours. But we first need an avenue for dialogue. Why are you so keen on understanding us? Grax piped up, skepticism still apparent. Because we all inhabit this universe together, Sarah replied. Together, we can face the uncertainties that lie ahead. We want alliances, not enemies. The tension in the room began to melt away with every word exchanged. Clora glanced at Sarah, her respect for the human ambassador growing clearer. Let's not forget, the humans bring a unique perspective, Clora reiterated, addressing the council. We can learn much from improving our technologies through collaboration. This can open pathways we have yet to explore. One delegate, a wiry creature named Zev, raised a tentacle. And what do you propose as the first step forward? Joint missions, Jack replied, glancing at Clora before continuing, exploring new worlds together, utilizing each other's strengths to achieve common goals. We can begin by improving our research efforts. Clora nodded in agreement. I support this idea. Together, we can develop advanced exploratory devices that incorporate both human ingenuity and our unique practices. As the discussion progressed, tentative nods of agreement rippled through the council members. Tentative questions turned into genuine discussions, shifting away from skepticism. The barriers that had once loomed large now began to feel less imposing. There was recognition, there was understanding. As new ideas flooded the air, Sarah looked over to Jack, feeling a silent message shared between them. They had taken the first step, a cup of coffee leading to genuine conversations, connecting lives that once felt worlds apart. Amidst it all, Clora caught Sarah's eye once again, an additional spark of camaraderie glimmering between them. In that moment, they realized this would not only be about technology, it would be about humans and aliens building relationships as well. Chapter 3, Brewing Connections. The weeks that followed were a whirlwind of meetings, project discussions, and unexpected friendships. The initial skepticism of the Alien Council began to fade, replaced by a growing curiosity about the humans. Inside the human enclave, Jack Matthews was busy reviewing a holographic display, his brows furrowing in concentration. Sarah, have you seen the latest reports on the Radini's biomaterials? They're incredible. We could enhance our own ships with those adaptations. Sarah stepped into the room, carefully balancing 2 mugs of coffee. I think Clara might have a few more ideas up her sleeve. I just had a chat with her about potential collaborations. More coffee? Jack asked with a grin, taking a mug. I think I'm going to need it. What did she say? She mentioned they've been developing self-healing materials that could revolutionize ship repairs. Sarah took a seat and leaned in. We could create a joint development team to explore that. Jack took a sip, savoring the rich flavor. That's the spirit. But we'll need to convince the council that it makes sense to invest not just their resources but also their trust in us, especially since we're still new players in the game. Just then, Clara entered, her presence commanding as usual, yet this time accompanied by a curious glint in her eyes. I see you two are busy with plans. What's the latest? Just discussing potential collaborations for ship upgrades, Jack replied, gesturing toward the hologram. The biomaterials you mentioned could improve not just durability but adaptive capabilities as well. Clara stepped closer to inspect the display. If we can bridge our technologies, it could change how our fleets operate. Exactly. Sarah chimed in. Imagine combining human engineering with Ray-Denii adaptability. We could dominate deep space exploration. Clara smiled, a rare look of approval. Then let us make it happen. However, we must first present our combined plan to the council in terms they understand. They are still wary of trusting humans. Right, Jack said, rubbing his chin thoughtfully. We need to incorporate a shared vision and outline clear benefits for both our species. Okay, let's outline all the data we need, Sarah suggested, gesturing to the screen. We'll highlight our strengths and show how our collaboration can produce tangible results. The 3 of them huddled around the projection, brainstorming and sharing ideas. Days turned into nights and the coffee cups piled up, each one fueling more collaboration, more laughter, and stories from their respective worlds. One evening, while Jack was mixing fresh coffee, he looked at Clara. What do you miss most about your home world? Clara paused, her features softening. The endless skies of Vinthor. They glow like liquid silver during the twilight. It is beautiful. Wow, that sounds incredible, Sarah said, her eyes wide with fascination. I can only imagine. Earth has its beauty too, Clara continued, glancing at Sarah. The vast oceans and rolling hills you describe often feel like fantasy to me. I would like to see them one day. It was a simple admission, yet it shifted the dynamic in the room. Jack raised an eyebrow. Looks like we have another mission to accomplish, a cultural exchange. We could make that happen, Sarah agreed eagerly. We should plan a visit to each other's homeworlds. It could strengthen our ties beyond just technology. Clara smiled softly. I would like that. As days turned into weeks, they prepared for the council session to unveil their collaborative project. The stakes felt higher, and every meeting was marked by anticipation. The day finally arrived when they would present their combined research and plans. In the council chamber, delegates filled the seats, their expressions a mix of skepticism and curiosity. Jack and Sarah stood at the front, ready to present. Esteemed council members, Jack began, his voice steady. We have gathered to present a new venture combining human technology with Ray-Denii innovation to create a more effective space exploration initiative. The room buzzed with murmurs. Clara stood beside them, her presence adding weight to their words. What you will see today is not a mere display of technologies, but a promise of partnership. We believe our collaboration can yield benefits for both of our civilizations. Sarah stepped forward, projecting a series of images showcasing their combined technologies. Here you can see the adaptive materials we discussed. These biomateria. For both parties. An investment here will result in enhanced capabilities for both Ray-Denii and humans, leading to new opportunities for exploration and trade. The council's aura shifted as the data sunk in. Curious questions arose. And how quickly can you implement this technology? With a joint effort, we foresee prototypes ready within the year, Sarah responded confidently. We are prepared to share our expertise and facilities for research while using Ray-Denii resources to enhance the effectiveness of our designs. Clara added, this alliance can strengthen our collective defenses against external threats in the galaxy. The potential benefits outweigh the risks. It was then that a delegate from a neighboring species spoke up. But can we trust you fully? Jack stepped forward again. We understand that trust is earned. We want to establish open lines of communication throughout this process. We'll provide regular updates and reports to ensure transparency. The previous events have no bearing on this new venture, Clara added firmly. It will be a collective effort based on mutual respect and cooperation. The council nodded collectively, their earlier skepticism dissipating. More questions led to engaging discussions, and as the meeting wore on, the atmosphere shifted towards optimism. When the presentation concluded, there was a palpable buzz in the air. Clara, Sarah, and Jack stood together, their faces reflecting a mix of relief and pride. "Not bad," Sarah said, flashing a grin at Clara. "I think we've got them interested." "Indeed," Clara replied, her eyes glimmering. "Your methods may not be conventional, but they are effective." Jack chuckled. "Maybe we should celebrate. How about some coffee?" "Only if it's Earth coffee," Clara countered playfully. "Deal," he said, raising his hand for a high five, earning a chuckle from Clara as she returned the gesture. As they left the chamber, the mood felt lighter. With renewed connections established and prospects on the horizon, Sarah felt a sense of unity forming. It was more than technological advancements. This was the beginning of something greater, melding different cultures into something powerful and meaningful. After all, in a galaxy filled with uncertainty, they were all changing their story, one shared cup of coffee at a time. Chapter 4, Challenges of the Heart. The momentum of their collaboration continued to grow. In the days following the council presentation, Sarah, Jack, and Clara worked tirelessly on their joint project. The atmosphere within the human enclave hummed with energy and excitement. But beneath the surface, new challenges emerged, both personal and professional. One evening, while the trio reviewed their designs on a holographic interface, Jack sensed a shift in the air. Clara had been quieter than usual, her concentration honing in on the data without her usual lighthearted banter. "Hey, Clara," Jack started, glancing up from his notes. "Everything all right?" Clara looked up, her blue skin shimmering in the dim light. "I believe I am simply overwhelmed. The pressure of coordinating efforts across two species is formidable." "I get it," Sarah chimed in, her tone sympathetic. "This is a big undertaking. But we're in this together. You don't have to carry the weight alone." Clara took a deep breath. "Your kind has much to teach us about teamwork. I suppose I am still grappling with the concept of shared responsibility." Jack smiled gently. "Just remember, it's okay to lean on us. We all have our strengths to bring to the table." "Agreed," Sarah added. "And we're making great progress. We've already designed a prototype framework. That's a significant step." Clara offered a subtle smile, but it didn't quite reach her eyes. "Thank you. I will endeavor to engage more openly. Let us press forward." As they worked together, Sarah couldn't help but notice the way Clara's presence lit up the room. Jack had been captivating as well, with his easy charm and quick wit. Yet, watching Clara navigate between confidence and uncertainty intrigued her. Was it possible to have a deeper connection beyond their work? Determined to build a friendship, Sarah suggested, "Why don't we take a break? Maybe we could grab a snack or go for a walk outside." Jack nodded enthusiastically. "That's a great idea. Let's clear our heads." Clara hesitated, her eyes darting between them. "A walk? Outside? Will we not be exposed?" "You'll be surprised how beautiful the landscape of the space station is at night," Sarah assured her. "Trust us, it might help you unwind." With some encouragement, Clara finally agreed. The three moved outside under the shimmering lights of the numerous star systems beyond the station's windows. Once outside, the serene beauty of the cosmos enveloped them. "It's enchanting," Clara whispered, taking in the celestial sights. "Right?" Jack said, gesturing at a nearby nebula. "Look at those colors. Each one represents different gases. It's like a painting." "It reminds me of the skies of Vinthor," Clara admitted, a flicker of warmth brightening her expression. "Though the colors there are more vibrant." "Care to describe it?" Sarah asked, genuinely curious. "What does a sunset look like on your planet?" Clara paused, collecting her thoughts. The sun dips below the horizon, spreading splashes of gold, crimson, and purple. It illuminates the clouds, which swirl like mist over oceans of liquid sapphire. "Wow, that sounds magical," Jack said, his eyes wide. "I would like to see Earth's beauty in return," Clara continued. "What are your sunsets like?" "Oh, every place has its own twist on it," Sarah replied, her voice softening. "On the coast, you can watch the sun sink into the ocean, casting shimmering golds and pinks across the water. It becomes surreal." As they talked, Jack couldn't help but interject, "I think we should plan a cultural exchange. You show us Vinthor, we'll show you Earth. It sounds like a win-win." Clara's eyes sparkled. "I would enjoy that immensely." Their conversation flowed effortlessly, laughter erupting at shared jokes and insights. After a while, they settled on a bench, the cool night air wrapping around them like a blanket. "Now that we're out here, I have a question," Sarah began, a teasing smile on her face. "What's up with the Radinii beauty standards? They have a reputation for being rather intense." Clara chuckled, shaking her head. Intense is one way to put it. For us, elegance is about symmetry and vibrancy. It reflects our inner strength and spirit. Jack chimed in with a smirk. So, if we humans want to impress, we should probably step up our game. Huh? Clara rolled her eyes playfully. Not necessarily. Humans have their charm. Your unpredictability is refreshing. Unpredictable, huh? Sarah echoed, her brow raised, a smile spreading across her face. We can certainly be that. Jack leaned closer, looking intrigued. What do you find most charming about us? Clara paused, searching for words. You possess an authentic unpredictability. It allows you to think outside traditional boundaries. I admire how you adapt. Thanks. That's a thoughtful compliment, Sarah said, looking pleased. And you have a certain grace that captivates. Grace, Clara said, arching an eyebrow. For a being often seen as combat-ready, I find that surprising. Jack laughed. I think it's the blue hue that does it. It's hypnotizing. Is that what you think? Clara shot back, laughter dancing in her eyes. Perhaps you humans are not so predictable. The laughter continued, and as time passed, Sarah felt a warmth growing among them. A fusion of camaraderie, interest, and something more profound. Let's promise to help each other outside of work too, Jack proposed, his voice serious yet inviting. We're all exploring new worlds together, and personal connections will only strengthen our collaboration. I like that idea, Sarah agreed. We need to maintain this bond, not just professionally but personally as well. You're both becoming important to me. Clara nodded, though her expression softened. It is rare for a Radinii to let down their walls. You both are. Not what I expected. What were you expecting? Jack challenged lightly. More aggressive? Clara admitted, letting out a soft sigh. Our past experiences have led us to be cautious around human beings. Your open nature is enlightening. Good to know we're breaking some stereotypes, Sarah added with a smile. Rethinking perspectives is a start. As they sat under the stars, their bond quietly shifted. Sarah caught Clara's eye, their gaze lingering for a moment longer than necessary. The unspoken connection sparkled, a silent acknowledgement of a deeper friendship forming. What's next for us? Jack asked as he stood, breaking the moment. We should get back to work. Our project won't launch itself. Agreed, Sarah replied, shaking off the momentary distraction. Let's tackle the designs again. As they walked back inside, the dynamic between the three began shifting. Conversations flowed more easily and laughter became commonplace. Yet, buried deep within was an emerging tension, each of them aware that the bond they forged transcended their professional boundaries. While they faced the trials of collaboration, they also discovered a unique array of feelings intertwined with their growing friendship. Laughter mingled with curiosity, and unguarded moments brought them together in ways they couldn't completely grasp. In the vast expanse of the universe, forging connections was difficult, but here, among the stars, they found warmth, laughter, and a shared journey, one step at a time, together. Chapter 5, A New Dawn. The glow of the stars illuminated the bustling activity of the human enclave as Jack Matthews entered the lab early one morning. The atmosphere buzzed with anticipation. Today was the day they would unveil their joint prototype to the council. Sarah and Clara were already deep into preparations. Good morning. How's it looking? Jack called out as he approached the workbench where they had assembled the prototype ship, a sleek design merging human engineering with Radinii biomaterials. It's almost ready. Just a few final adjustments, Sarah replied, her excitement evident. But we need to check the interface before the presentation. Clara nodded, adjusting her focus on a series of holographic readouts. The vessel is adaptive. It will reshape itself based on dynamic environmental factors. This is where our technologies blend beautifully. Jack approached, studying the screens. You've thought of everything. I can hardly believe we're actually here. Finally ready to show them our work. Sarah added, her voice laced with enthusiasm. This could change everything for our species. Clara paused, looking serious. We must ensure the presentation is flawless. They will scrutinize every detail. Then let's practice, Jack suggested. A dry run will help us smooth out any bumps. We want everything to flow seamlessly. As they gathered around the prototype, they mimicked the presentation format they had practiced repeatedly. Sarah began, "Esteemed delegates of the Council, we are proud to present the joint prototype of human and Radianii technologies." Clara followed, her voice steady but confident. "This vessel represents the fusion of our strengths. The adaptive biomaterials enhance durability and self-repair capabilities, while the human engineering provides cutting-edge propulsion systems." Jack chimed in, gesturing to the projected hologram that displayed the ship's features. "Imagine the possibilities this offers for exploration, trade, and mutual defense. As we venture out into uncharted territories, this collaboration can pave the way for greater synergy between our two peoples." They continued practicing, taking turns to speak and refining their delivery. However, the underlying tension was palpable. "Are we ready?" Sarah asked as they finished their run. "This is it, the moment of truth." "I feel a mix of excitement and nervousness," Clara admitted, her eyes reflecting the seriousness of the day. Jack placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "We all do, but we've prepared thoroughly. We just need to be confident." "Right," Clara agreed, taking a deep breath. "Together, we can manage this." As they prepared to leave for the council chamber, Sarah looked at both of them, her voice unwavering. "Whatever happens, we've come so far. We're already an example of collaboration between our worlds." The trio stepped into the grand chamber, greeted by the curious gazes of council members. Zarkin and Zev were among the most skeptical, their expressions unreadable. As they took their positions, Clara began, "Esteemed members of the council, today we present a significant leap forward for both our peoples. This prototype is the embodiment of collaboration engineered to face new challenges together." Jack clicked a button on the display, projecting a detailed image of the ship. This design combines Radianii adaptability with human ingenuity. Its biomaterials allow for enhanced performance in hostile environments. A chorus of murmurs spread through the room, but it was Zev who raised a tentacle. "And what of your previous confrontations? How can we trust these advances will not lead to more conflict?" "We understand your concerns," Sarah replied, stepping forward. "But this partnership is built on a foundation of mutual respect. This prototype is not just a ship, it's a mechanism to unify us further." Clara added, "As we explore together, we will share knowledge, adapt strategies, and ensure that our worlds thrive alongside one another." The council members listened attentively, some nodding, yet there remained an air of caution. Jack continued, "We believe in preserving peace and providing assurance. By investing in this project, we elevate both our civilizations and prepare to face unknown threats as allies." Zarkin, sitting at the head of the table, leaned forward. "What guarantees can you offer that this collaboration won't falter at the first sign of adversity?" Clara stepped forward, her voice firm. "We are opening this partnership with clearly defined objectives and committed resources. Regular updates, transparent processes, and collaborative efforts are embedded in our approach." Zev piped up again, "What about the risks? Have you accounted for potential failures?" Sarah took a deep breath. "Every new venture comes with risks, whether on our worlds or in the depths of space. However, we aim to minimize them with shared responsibilities and open communication. We will face failures together and learn from them." Another delegate raised an eyebrow. "And what are the resources you will share? Will human technologies be turned against us if provoked?" Clara met the delegate's gaze with certainty. "Our intent is to strengthen connections, not weaponize differences. We exist as partners in this effort to explore safely." As the questions continued, Jack could sense the council's unease slowly shifting to curiosity. They weren't ready to commit completely, but the idea of collaboration was stimulating intrigue. "Let me show you how the technology functions," Jack suggested, moving closer to the prototype. "Watch how it interacts with various elements and adapts in real time." He activated a demonstration that showcased the vessel reshaping its surface in reaction to different atmospheric conditions projected on the display. Gasps filled the chamber as they witnessed the technology at work. "Impressive," Zarkin admitted, clearly intrigued. "This could indeed change the dynamics of exploration." Clara seized the opportunity. "Imagine a fleet of these vessels working together, each one enhancing the capabilities of the other. We could chart uncharted territories and tackle adversities seamlessly." Despite initial resistance, a spark of enthusiasm began to spread among the delegates. They exchanged whispers, pondering the implications of their shared venture. Finally, Zarkin stood to address the assembly. "Your efforts warrant deeper consideration. We must deliberate on the implications this partnership holds for us. But there is merit in what you present today." A collective release of tension filled the chamber as murmurs turned into approval. "Will they be allowed to make further preparations?" one delegate questioned. "Yes," Zarkin replied, looking towards Clara and the humans. You may continue your research and return with a proposal for resource-sharing agreements. Sarah felt exhilaration surge through her. Thank you. We will provide updates at every step and ensure our collaboration is fruitful. As the meeting concluded, the trio stepped out of the chamber, a mix of emotions swirling within them. Did we really just do that? Jack asked, disbelief coloring his voice. It felt like they were finally listening, Clara replied, a smile breaking across her face. I think we've turned a corner. Sarah could hardly contain her excitement. We're on our way to establishing a new alliance. Collaborations that truly matter. As they walked back through the hallway, Clara's demeanor appeared lighter. Your faith in this process is uplifting. I wouldn't have imagined it could grow this rapidly. And it will continue to grow, Jack added, looking at both women. With the bonds we're building, we can achieve even more. Let's celebrate our achievements today, Sarah suggested, a spark of enthusiasm lighting her eyes. Celebration? Clara echoed, curiosity saturating her tone. How do humans celebrate? Jack chuckled. We usually gather around food or drink. Fun, laughter, and good company are essential ingredients. Then we shall do just that, Clara said, her voice firm. Food and laughter are necessary in any partnership. As they made their way to the enclave, unified in newfound excitement, they understood that today was not just about a successful presentation. It was just as much about the connections growing among them, blending different worlds and cultures side by side. With each new venture, we are forging a future, Jack remarked as they entered the communal space. Together, we're building something lasting. The stars twinkled beyond the windows as the trio gathered, each of them aware that their journey was only just beginning. Today was the dawn of something extraordinary, and they were ready to embrace every challenge ahead together.